Okay. Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Tailwind Online versus Tailwind Legacy, What to Expect. We hope that you're all healthy and keeping safe during these turbulent and very surreal times. My name is Bradley Zaitzoff. I'm the Director of Marketing here at Tailwind, and I'll be the moderator for today's webinar. And I'm sure many of you already know our main presenter today, the Implementation Specialist here at Tailwind, Lynda Clare. Lynda has over 40 years of experience in transportation, from working in operations to being a financial controller. She's really seen and done it all. Lynda, thank you very much for being here today.
Thanks for having me, Brad. And hi, everyone.
Cool. All right. Now for just a little bit of housekeeping, the webinar is being recorded and we will be sending it out in the next day or so to all of you. And while webinar attendees are on mute, if you have a question, please send them to us in the question box and we'll respond to them at the end of the presentation. So, as you know, Tailwind is a transportation software company focused on helping small to mid-sized trucking companies, freight brokerages, and those businesses that do both. What you may not know is that since launching our true web-based TMS offering in late 2016, we've made over 300 enhancements and updates to it. So making it stronger, so it can help folks like all of you become more effective and resilient when there are these kind of crazy bumps in the road, for lack of a better term. Now, before we get into the meat of the presentation, I do have a quick poll question for our audience. So I want to be finding out from you, how is your business currently handling the COVID-19 pandemic? Are you washing your hands and keeping your distance from one another? Are you staggering start times so not everyone is starting at the same time? Let me just actually launch this poll so you can be making the making your choices there. Are you doing some safety training with your staff? So discussing the need for hand washing and disinfecting frequently touched surfaces. Are much of your staff, or maybe all of your staff, working from home right now? Or is there something else? And if you are doing something else that you find effective, please let us know and we can be sharing those kind of useful ideas with everybody. Got a lot of people answering here, so thank you very much for that. Let's see, I'll give it a couple more seconds here before I close the poll. All right, the votes are slowing down, so here I'll share the results of that. So good to hear most of you all the washing hands out there, staggering start times, a few of you. Good to see that a lot of the staff are working from home. So that's all that I know. Us at Tailwind, we had an emergency kind of plan in place for that. So we have most of us actually all located from our homes, and that's the beauty of working, I guess, in the tech company. It definitely helps with that. All right, I'll close that. And I will turn things now over to Lynda.
Thanks so much for that, Brad. And just looking through the attendee list, I do have to say it's really nice to see some of you there. It's been a while since I've talked to some of you, so it's really nice to see you all here. So thanks so much for joining us for today's webinar. And as Brad has mentioned, I'm going to go over the benefits of our fully web-based versus on-premise or remote login systems. I'm going to give you a tour of our new software and show you all that it has to offer. I'm also going to discuss the migration process and what those steps look like for you. Dear, I must be nervous. Okay, let's first discuss the benefits of web-based software. It's easily accessible from anywhere. Users can access a web-based system anywhere, so long as they have an internet connection, a web browser, and the appropriate login details. This means that users can access the data they need when they are away from the office without the need to log in to remote desktop. It also brings the possibility of staff working from home, something that is becoming increasingly relevant given this COVID-19 outbreak. Easy data sharing and collaboration. The sharing of data and collaborating on projects is made much easier with web-based systems. Data is stored in one central location, so users can share data and work together on projects. It is also easier to integrate web-based systems than isolated desktop applications. Reduced hardware costs. Web-based systems can eliminate the need for powerful client PCs. Processing is carried out on the cloud server. The cloud server is engineered to efficiently service simultaneous peak demand. So the storage, processor, and memory requirements for client PCs can be reduced, and there's no need for an on-site server or a pricey IT technician. Taken across an entire organization, this can represent a large cost saving for some businesses. No installation or maintenance required. Unlike traditional software that is loaded on each device, true web-based applications run from a cloud server. There is no installation on local machines. Software upgrades are all completed centrally. That reduces the cost of installing and upgrading software. It also ensures that all users are always using the same and latest version of the software. Adaptable to changing workforce. The deployment of web-based application requires no software loading on the client PC. All that is needed is the setting up of a new user and the relevant secure access controls. This can be a major benefit for growing businesses or for seasonal businesses. Users can be added and removed quickly. And lastly, more frequent updates. A web-based application runs in a web browser. That means that a single responsive web application can be used across multiple device types. Although web apps will need to be tested on different browsers, there is no need to test them on the different operating systems. This makes development and testing much easier. It cuts development costs and reduces development time. That means that we spend more time and resources on improving the application features rather than having to make sure it works across multiple operating systems. Brad, I think you have another poll question for us.
I do indeed. I want to find out what our audience feels would be the biggest benefit to their business if they switched over to Tailwind Online. So basically, would it be the ability to be working from any location? The POD Complete app, which we haven't really spoken about too much yet, but this is an app that sends load information to drivers on their phones and lets them take a picture of and send a POD in immediately. Is it no more costly servers or IT personnel's time? Or the bi-weekly updates that are continuously kind of happening there, or everyone on the team being on the same version of the software? So let's see what people are kind of excited about here.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. If I was an asset-based trucking company, I'd be voting for POD Complete.
Yeah, it looks like there's quite a few that are interested in that one for sure. But I think there's one clear group in the lead. And I did actually make this available so people can vote on multiple, so we'll see. Right. Looks like most people have voted, so I'll close that and share the results. So
interesting.
Big one. It's a big one, which given times right now, particularly important. POD Complete, great for cash flow, so that would definitely help. And those other pieces still pretty important too. So thanks everyone for sharing that information with us. And with that, I will turn things back over to Lynda. And Lynda, I'm going to make you the organizer or the sharing your screen now.
Thanks, Brad. Just waiting for that to come up for me. Perfect. And I want to make sure I show my correct screen. Great. Brad, can you let me know if you're seeing Tailwind? Hi there, Lynda. Ready to get rolling?
I don't yet. Oh, there I do now. There we go.
Oh, good. Okay, good, everyone. Okay, so now that we understand the benefits of moving to web-based software, I'm going to give you a quick tour of our web-based application. Tailwind Online has all the features available in Tailwind Legacy and more. It has a more modern user interface, so it does look different. And it's built on a more modern technology than the initial cloud system, which still requires you to log in using remote desktop. This is the main page in the application, and this will become valuable to you for two reasons. One, it is great access to the Customer Success and Support Center. This is going to give you every article you will ever need to learn how to use our application. And 2, it's great access to support. This chat bubble down in the bottom right-hand corner allows you to quickly strike up a conversation with any member on our support team and typically get an answer in under 10 minutes. No more waiting in those phone queues, everyone. Here in this gear icon, sorry, me going back and forth between the script and my screen. Here in this gear icon, you're going to have access to the configuration area of your software. It's in here that you're going to have the ability to let the software mirror or mimic your operations. You have the ability to create multiple branches, lookup tables, or will allow you to populate some of the various pull-downs throughout the application if needed. And that might be specific to your workflows. And we still have custom fields, everyone. Those are very valuable. They can be enabled on any record in the application and can be useful while configuring your database. It allows you to add new fields for information that you alone need to track. In operations, you're going to find various settings that, again, are going to help the software mirror or mimic how you do business, how you age your invoices, or apply fuel surcharge rates, the ability to set defaults like your package types, or allow you to check, set dispatch requirements, even minimum profit settings. In financial, you're going to have the ability to set up your own bank accounts, credit card accounts, Comdata accounts, as well as set items like your fuel surcharge rates, manage your exchange rates, as well as manage and take care of your revenue and expense items. In documents, we give you the ability to customize many document fields, further branding the software to your specific company or whatever you want your advertisements and taglines to be, your terms and conditions on those various documents. And in integrations, you'll be able to integrate your dispatch software with load boards, MacroPoint, customer and carrier portals. And the last thing I want you to make sure that you are aware of is that the web-based version of Tailwind has a completely open API. That means it can be integrated or exchange data with any other software that also has an open API. That covers off the configuration area of the application. One last thing to show you in that gear icon, though, is access to user management. Now, this will be available to the admin user only at your company. It's the ability to increase or decrease your subscription count and to set specific security or permission rights to each user that you allow to log into your software. We're now going to have a quick look at that left vertical menu bar. Very similar to the one we presently have in our legacy version, this will give you navigation abilities throughout the application. One of the benefits I spoke of earlier at the beginning of this webinar is the joy of web-based browsing. In order to work in the transportation industry, you truly have to have some serious multitasking tools. And multiple tabbed browsing will help with those multitasking needs. You can open any screen list with a right mouse function on a separate tab, as well as individual orders. Let me give you an example of that. Maybe I'm on my order list and a customer calls in and I actually open the actual order that the customer is calling in about. I can open it on another tab. I can be chatting away with the customer about the order when a driver calls in urgently with a problem. I, of course, ask my customer to hold for a quick moment. I can then open my dispatch list with one click of a button, and it gives me the dispatch list. I can then open the dispatch that the driver happens to be calling in about. Again, one click of a button opens the dispatch. I can chat away to the driver, quickly and easily close that tab and go back to the order that has the information I'm discussing with my customer. You will find, that's just a small example of multiple tab browsing capabilities, but you will find those multi-tab browsing capabilities are really great. So in our record section, let's go back to our last vertical menu bar here, everyone. In our record section, you have access to all those master records, just like your legacy software right now. Customers, vendors, personnel, locations, and equipment. In our operations section, you're going to find quotes, orders, dispatches, shipments, advertising, the ability to advertise equipment, equipment status, and tools. Right now, I'm going to take you through the creation of a quick order so you can see how easy it is to do that. So I'm going to my order screen. We have a create button at the top of every screen list. So when I click it, it opens up all the fields that are available for me. Here in the customers, I can simply type the first few letters of the customer's name and it's going to populate for me. Your contacts will all be here. Customer reference number if needed. Of course, you know, customers do like their PO numbers on their invoices. You can set booked by, account rep, and sales rep, just like your present software. And when I go next, the software then allows me to detail what it is I'm moving, where it picks up, and where it delivers to. Let's go ahead and move some appliances. Let's assume we need a van for this load, and we'll go with 24 skids, and maybe it weighs 32,000 pounds. We've got the partial, full, or LTL still. I can then choose where I'm picking up and where I'm delivering to. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put in Acme, which then allows the software to only show me locations that start with the word Acme. So we'll pick up out of Acme Manufacturing Company with a pickup date, pickup time if needed, any notes that need to flow through the software. These will print on load confirmations and trip manifests, and where does the load deliver? So we'll go ahead and deliver it out to an Acme store in Mendota, Illinois, it happens to be. So we're going from the Bronx to Mendota with a delivery date, again, whatever that might be, times, reference numbers for delivery, any delivery notes as those will flow through. Here you've got some buttons that are going to help you take care of those multiple shipments that you might have. I'm simply demonstrating one pick, one drop, of course. And now the last thing to setting an order is how much money are you charging the customer for the movement of this freight. So I'll go ahead and charge $1,500. I can add in accessorials as well at this time. The software will populate my freight charge and allow me to choose any other accessorial that I may need. Maybe I'm charging a lumper service fee on this load. So I simply populate the amount, and when I finish the order, I can dispatch it right then and there. But when I finish the order, I can either post to load boards, open the order, or the order list. I'm going to go ahead and open the order right now because I also want to show you how easy it is to dispatch in this software. So the order details are all here from the order, just like your legacy software right now. You can create invoices, bills of ladings, rate advisories. You can email any of these items as well. Every record, report, everything in the software is emailable. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to dispatch this load. And when I choose dispatch all shipments, the software asks me if I'm going to be putting it on a company truck or a brokered carrier. If I'm asset-based trucking, of course, I'm going to throw it on a company truck, and here's all of my tractors that I've set up embedded in my database. If I'm a freight brokerage company, I'm going to have my brokered carrier button highlighted, and here's all the carriers that I have vetted and set up in my database, allowing me then to choose the carrier. I'm going to dispatch this on the freight brokerage, but it's just the same for company truck as well. I'm going to go ahead and choose 123 transport. The equipment type will populate through from the order. And how much money am I going to pay this carrier for moving this load? So I can put the amount in, and I can even categorize my expense item at the same time. When I say that, then will create the dispatch record for you, everyone. And there's a multitude of functions we can do from the dispatch record. We can send out electronic load confirmations. Now that's a new feature in our software, in the web-based software. We can still email the load confirmation, but we do have the ability to send electronic load confirmations. Let me talk to you for a moment about the maps. Our legacy software was involved with either PC Miler or Pro Miles. Some of those licenses can get expensive at times. No need for that in the web-based application anymore because the application of here.com comes to you right with the application. Here.com is kind of the up-and-coming player in the mileage world these days, and it is truck practical miles. The maps generated from the location record, so Acme Manufacturing Company in the Bronx or Acme Store in Mendota, Illinois, those maps are coming to you from Google Maps. So the dispatches here, you still have all the same functions, your switches, your drops, your ability to see your revenue and expenses, to get a quick snapshot of what you're doing. It's all pretty much the same, but with added features for you and looks different. Great, everyone. Okay, let me head back to my script here.
Actually, before we move on from there, Lynda, sorry, just we had a quick question, and I think it relates to this, is do we need to fill in the commodity, equipment type, and weight? Oh.
They are required fields, yes.
Cool.
Hope that helps. Okay, so let's move on down to our admin section here. The admin section is looking a little different than your present application because we've broken it out into 3 sections. We have AR, we have AP, and we have some tools. So in AR, receivables is a historical data screen. It's where you're going to come to look up past data. Invoicing is the ability to audit, edit, work your invoices, get them off to your customers. Incoming Payment Wizard is the ability to receive payments from your customers, keeping your AR up to date. And deposits is the ability to associate all payments received in one day, 1 week, to a specific deposit record. Through Accounts Payable, our payable section is another historical data screen, simply going to hold all your bills and your bill payments, again, where you're going to come to look up past data. The Incoming Bill Wizard, I've lost my script completely now. The Incoming Bill Wizard provides you the ability to receive bills or invoices from your vendors and even distribute chargebacks to owner-operators and drivers, as well as create service records on equipment when entering a bill from a maintenance provider. Bill posting is the flip side of that invoicing screen up here. It's the ability for you to work all related expenses for the movement of freight, posting those bills. Vendor pay is a check run screen. This is simply the ability to create your check run, pay your vendors. All unpaid posted bills will populate here. You can always keep an eye on your cash flow. We always want to know how much money we're releasing in a check run. When you process payments through the vendor screen, you do have the ability to either print a check or simply just process a payment. The personnel pay and the owner-operator pay wizards are where all of your personnel payments, commission sales reps, and owner-operator pay will come to reside. It's the ability to take care of deductions, bonuses, account for cash advances or mid-month draws. And when you process payments to internal staff members, not only can you process a payment, let me choose my account, not only can you process a payment and print a check, don't have to print a check if you're paying by ACH or e-transfer, you can also print comprehensive pay settlement statements to your commission sales reps, company drivers, or owner-operators. In check clearing, another historical data screen, this is where all of your payments issued out will come and reside. It's simply the ability to see specific accounts and checks that have been created from that account. Now, up here, we have tools. I have to cover off tools. Sorry, we almost forgot about tools. Bill schedules is the ability to create recurring bills, such as gathering escrow from your owner-operators, or regular monthly deductions like cargo and liability insurance. The POD import tool is a sweet and improved tool for you, way easier to use than your present POD import tool. It's just the ability to just drag and drop your proofs of delivery into this window. They will automatically attach to the order in question and be ready for sending with the invoice to your customer. We do have fuel imports. We have integrations built with Comdata, EFS, Fleet One, and Husky. We still have customer and vendor rate histories, very valuable tools for you. The customer rate history will return every load you've ever done for every customer. The vendor rate history will return every load you've ever given every carrier partner. The ability to filter the information to return specific lane data. The ability to do radius searches. You get a truck stuck somewhere, you can do a radius search of all loads you've hauled within a 100-mile, 200-mile radius of that location. We have reports in the application, lots of built-in reports for you. And while you can certainly run any report and return it to an Excel spreadsheet, we also have the ability on every single screen to have an advanced search. Now, the advanced search replaces your binoculars. Those binoculars that you're used to using in your legacy software that build reports for you, that's the advanced search now, and any report can be returned and sent to an Excel spreadsheet. Back into tools. We have integrations with both QuickBooks Online and QuickBooks Desktop. So either one that you want to stick with, like if you want to stick with QuickBooks Desktop, you certainly can, and we also have that integration to online. Now up here, I'd like to point out these two icons. These are new icons for you. You don't have these in your present legacy system. The bell icon is just the ability for the logged in user only to see any tasks that have been assigned to them. The ability to click on that task to see the details of it, take care of it, and then dismiss the task. The icon right next to it is the ability to SMS or text directly out of the application with any coworker, company driver, or owner-operator. Now, the very last item I want to talk to you about in this new application is our POD Complete app, and it's a very exciting feature. So Brad's got some screenshots for us in a moment. First, I want to show you and tell you briefly what it's going to do for you. We will know, I want to open up Trip Manifest here, everyone. So we will know that when we dispatch a load, we either dispatch it to a company driver, an owner operator, or a carrier partner. And we either send out a load confirmation or a trip manifest. Trip manifests go to company drivers and owner operators. All the details that happen to be on this load and what you need the driver or owner operator to do for you. With the POD Complete app, the mere act of assigning the driver in this section will allow the application to send all details in that trip manifest out to the driver's cell phone. The driver can download an app, will have a secure username and login ID, and it is both Android and iPhone capable. It can be downloaded from Google Play or the iTunes Store. The driver gets all the information on their cell phone, but it doesn't stop there. The driver can mark flags. When the driver arrives at the building supply store in Ontario, California, the driver can press a button on the app on their cell phone that marks this flag in your database, even populate the time the driver sent the message to you. You can now be tracking in and out times of your loading and unloading facilities directly off messages sent from the driver or owner operator. As well, when the driver delivers the load into the 3M company in Seattle, in this case, send you messages that mark the flags telling you the load's been delivered, the driver can then, with another button on the app, capture the proof of delivery. No extra work by yourself or the driver. That POD will flow through the electronic world, attach itself to the order in question, and be ready for sending to your customer with the invoice. Imagine you can be invoicing your customer day of delivery with the Tailwind POD Complete app. That's a pretty sweet hit to your cash flow. Now I'm going to send this back over to Brad. Please, Brad, you take it back because I think he's got some screenshots of what the POD Complete app looks like for us. There we go. So that's all that it can do. It's a really sweet new feature. And I think Brad's got another poll question for us as well.
I do indeed. So let me get that up here for the folks. Actually, before I move off the screen, just so people can see the information, so you can see where the drivers can indeed mark arrived and departed and capture a picture of the POD, or either get consignee signatures. So that's, I think, pretty handy stuff.
It's very cool, Brad.
All right, we'll move over to the poll.
Thank you.
So we want to find out from our audience, how are you currently getting PODs back to the office? So are you using a courier or TransFlow as a driver, bringing it back to you directly? Do you maybe already have a mobile app of something that you're using, or is it a carrier pigeon that you have coming back from wherever the driver might be?
You had a picture of a carrier pigeon yesterday, Brad. Where did that go?
Oh man, I went too fast through the slides here. Let's see. Once I'll show it off here when people have all responded. Let's see. Getting
you
most
called him
people
Gus,
responding.
I believe.
Yep. Good old Gus. All right. Let's see. Looks like most people have responded, so I'm going to close poll, share those results. So
wow.
Like, most people are relying on the driver to be bringing it back.
Wow.
People on that pigeon.
Then I certainly can't say enough about how the Tailwind POD Complete app will help you. You can invoice your customer the same day as delivery instead of waiting for the driver to get back to home terminal.
That's probably handy. And here, so here's my poll, and here's Gus.
There's Gus.
There's Gus, the pigeon. Gotta love him. All right, I'll let Lynda continue here.
Thanks so much, Brad. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you now a little bit about the migrating from Tailwind Legacy to Tailwind Online. When you've determined you're ready to migrate to our web-based software, we're going to give you a trial or test database that you and your staff can play in to test and get used to the software's functions. We assign an implementation coordinator to assist you, and we will provide you with training and checklists through this testing period. Once you determine a go-live date, we will take care of migrating your data for you from your on-premise or remote desktop version to the online version. So you start with all your data. This migration takes place over a weekend, so that when you and your team come in on Monday morning, you're live and active in the new software. All the past data, if you've got 5 years worth of data in your legacy software, we're going to migrate it over for you. All of your data is there and ready for work with little to no interruptions in your workflow. And truly, we do hold your hand through the implementation process. And that's how you can migrate to Tailwind Online. And I think, Brad, you have a final poll question for us?
Oh, I'll take myself off mute. I do. I want to be finding out if people in our audience would like to talk through their specific migration package options with one of our customer success reps. So I'll launch the poll here. People can actually let us know. So you can let us know, sure, reach out to me as soon as possible about it. Sure, maybe, but next month, or just not at this time. So let us know. And I won't have to share the results of this one. Well, this will just for our internal purposes to find out whether or not we start reaching out or we wait a little bit. All right.
Great. And while everyone's filling that out, I'll let them all know that you can ask questions as well. You've got a chat function there. You can either send us a question through that chat function, or no, you can only do it through the chat function. Is that correct, Brad? We can't unmute them, correct?
There's a question. No, not on the webinar, but there is the chat, the question box there, and it looks like we've got a few questions already.
Great.
So yeah, we'll let this. Looks like most people have voted, so I'll close the poll now, and we'll continue. Oh, and we have indeed come to the question portion of the presentation. So let's get right into those then. So we have Jim asking, does all my data transfer from the current version to the new version? So the equipment, the pass loads, invoices, and maintenance.
Yes,
good question.
Everything migrates. Even all the configuration settings you have. If you've got specific terms and conditions on your load confirmations, All of that information comes over in the migration process.
Is another question here. Have there been any upgrades for the specialty load carriers?
Oh gosh, for specialty, do you mean things like heavy haul customers? I do see we've got Lynda and Janie here, so perhaps that question came from you guys. If we're talking about the heavy haul, no specific upgrades, but I'd be happy to talk to you on a private level about that and see what we can do for you.
Yeah, that was Jim asking that question, Jim Mussman. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you bet, Jim. Again, I can certainly discuss that with you separately. We've got great ability to add in your own equipment and things like that in this new application.
Another question, in operations, are there still going to be templates?
Oh, no. We have bill templates, yes. But no, we do not have order templates. We certainly have the ability for you to copy an order, but to create, like you can copy an order and you can copy it as many times as you need. But to create an order template and a scheduled order, no, that functionality is not coming over into the new application. Although I will tell you, it is on our product path. It just hasn't been developed yet.
And someone's asking, will we still have access to the desktop version after migration?
Oh, that's a great question. Yes, you will have access to the desktop version. Now, while we migrate all of your data over to the web-based version, we turn your desktop version into a read-only mode. So you still have access to it. You can't use it, but you still have access to the data. Yes.
And when migrating, how do I know when to end data entry in the old system?
That will be worked out with your implementation coordinator. Typically, all the customers I've migrated so far, we've ended the data entry Friday afternoon when the last person goes home. Our staff then takes over. We take that database, and on the weekend, we spend that time migrating it, making sure all records come over correctly, and then Monday morning you're live with exactly the same data that you left Friday evening with. Now, if you're a trucking company or a freight brokerage company that maybe works on Saturdays, we'll look at the migration process to happen on a Sunday for you, for example.
Yeah. Someone related to that, how quickly can we get moved over? Our staff need to work from home now.
Oh gosh, we can move you fairly quickly. We typically like to have a weekend to do it. My question would come in, how comfortable are you to use the software immediately? There's a lot of training functions that we have and resources available for you. So if we needed to move you over quickly, we'd make it work and we'd make it happen, and I would dedicate some time for you.
Awesome. I like this one. Was Spellcheck incorporated into the new system?
That's a great question that I'm not sure I know the answer to. Hang on one sec. Let's see if Spellcheck is incorporated in here. I don't really know the answer to that.
I can jump in for you, Lynda, if you want.
Yeah, we have Kyle here as well, our director of product design and development. So.
Yeah, so Spellcheck does not exist in the new application. Yeah, it's funny that you asked that because I did hear that from a few of our Tailwind 5 customers previously, that they would want it in the legacy application. But what some people have done is installed like Grammarly and stuff like that, which will do kind of an auto spell check on your browser for you. But I've never seen it in use by anybody.
Someone else is asking about the POD app. She says it likes that the POD app has a signature capture, but Mark in support said those signatures don't count for official bills of lading. Mark said there were a lot of federal regulations on those. Lynda, do you want to speak to that a little?
Sure, you bet. And yes, Mark is correct. I mean, legally, you must have a bill of lading that has been signed. The signature capture on our on our POD Complete app is the ability to just capture the signature. It captures it on the driver's cell phone. It doesn't actually put it on the actual shipping document, the bill of lading. That's why we prefer you to capture the proof of delivery. You hand the bill of lading or the shipping document to the receiver signs that, and then the driver captures that POD, and that captures the entire shipping document as well as the signature.
And just to jump in there, we are actually in the process of working on an updated version of the app on both sides right now, which is going to consolidate some of that information. And with the signature capture piece, because it isn't being like superimposed on any documents or anything like that, we are actually going to be taking that functionality out and making it easier for you to be able to capture the actual signed off on document that your drivers will have and flow through properly to the corresponding places inside of the main application for the order that or shipment that it was picking up or delivering.
Right.
So on another question here, on the mapping and mileage, can the route be adjusted for route changes on permitted loads or permitted loads?
Absolutely. Now, it requires one click to add in another location to show that rerouting. But you bet, all you have to do is add in a location, like if you're going through Portal instead of Emerson or something like that as a border crossing. Yes, you just add the location in, recalculate the miles, and the software will reroute it.
Oh. Someone is asking, is there an end of life date for the legacy application?
Brad, you're going to have to answer that question. I don't know the answer to that one.
Well, I can say that for those that are using the remote desktop version, yes, January 1st, 2021. No longer going to be supporting that one just because it is built on technology that is quickly becoming, or actually already kind of has been somewhat outdated. So it's difficult to be kind of maintaining that. And not to mention all the new development is happening on the new system. If you're using the desktop version, well, you can continue using it. Just it's going to be a little bit more difficult to provide that kind of same level of support. But that one you can continue using. So I think that hopefully answers your question there, Andrew. Got a question here from Todd. Do you require the web-based version of QuickBooks in order to sync, or will it sync to the desktop version of QuickBooks?
It'll sync to both, or either. Both QuickBooks Online as well as the desktop version. Now, we do have to caveat that slightly. In order to sync to the desktop version, you need one third-party tool, and it is, Kyle, $195 one-time fee?
Correct. Yep.
Oh, good. Thanks, Kyle. Yeah, so you do need a third-party tool, but it's less than $200 one-time charge, and we still sync to QuickBooks Online as well.
Thanks for that question, Todd. That was that's a good one because we that was a recent announcement. I think just even last month. That's when we launched the desktops version. So nice to see that that question come in and be of interest. Is the mileage program part of the cost?
No, it's included. The mileage program is fully included in the web-based software. No more expensive mileage licenses.
It's always nice when we can answer those ones positively. Thanks for that, Nancy. Another one here. Do you integrate with EBI?
Oh, what a great question, and truly should have been mentioned in this. We just signed a partnership deal with Kleinschmidt. Oh, Kyle, I'm going to need your help on this one.
You're right.
Okay, so yes, we will have an EBI integration shortly. Kyle, do you have a timeline for us on that one?
Yeah, so I can give an update on that. So with our EDI, we've been working over the last quarter with Kleinschmidt to do all the development on that side of things. We're actually just in the first phases right now of doing some early adopter testing with a few customers, and pending that, it will be released. So we're hoping in the next month or so, obviously depending on how testing goes, that it'll be out in the wild and available for everybody. So yeah, it's exciting times on that one.
Nice, yeah.
Candy is asking, when you print carrier checks, does a window open for each check you want to print?
No, it puts all checks into a zip file. So you can view them on the screen for sure. You can have a look at them. They'll pop up on your browser on a separate tab, but they're all in a zip file all together, and then you simply send them out to a printer from there. Gosh, I hope I answered that question correctly for you, Candy.
And then Andrew has a question here regarding Kleinschmidt. Is the per transaction Kleinschmidt cost passed on to the customer or baked into the license cost?
No, so with that one there, customers will have the direct relationship with Kleinschmidt itself. So you guys would reach out to them, establish the trading partner connections and all that fun stuff. And then their pricing would be passed or directly to you guys on that end of things. So whatever their transaction fees or mailbox fees are, that would be relevant for you.
Cool. Another question coming regarding integrations. Do you integrate with ELD?
Oh, another great question. And yes, that's coming down the pipe for you as well. I'll let you know we're going to integrate to begin with Samsara. That's our first partner we've taken over. Kyle, do we have a timeline for that one?
So that one, we're hard at work pushing through that right now. It was one of our things we wanted to get accomplished for this quarter. We have 4 days left and we're pushing real hard for it. I think it's going to carry over a little bit into the beginning of next month. So as it sits right now, from our side of things, there isn't a lot from an ELD perspective that we have inside of Tailwind. The Samsara is going to keep track of all of your remaining balances and all that stuff. Still, how the integration is going to work is it's going to be primarily passing like your dispatch information across from Tailwind into Samsara. It's going to pass across any messaging that you do have with your drivers, and then as well as more so on the GPS, so getting the location details and stuff like that. Coming through. We do have eventually plans to bring in what those remaining balances for that cycle time would be, so that you can assist that when you're doing like your load planning. And that's going to be part of our expanded load planning module that we've talked about. So as it sits right now, you would still want to have your balances open inside of Samsara, inside of your browser, and then you would have Tailwind as a separate tab or a different window as well currently.
Cool. Thanks, Kyle.
Yep, no worries.
All right, we have a question from Jerry. He says, have there been any upgrades to the maintenance program?
Kyle?
Yeah, so with that, in terms of the maintenance that we have inside of Tailwind 5, we brought some of that across into Tailwind 7. And we know that in both sides of things, it isn't our strong suit. So what we're in the process of doing is actually looking at integrating with a provider out there that has both a maintenance program as well as potentially tying to, if you have your own shop in-house, tying to that, so we can kind of couple those two together. We don't want to necessarily reinvent the wheel for everything when there's systems out there that are working and doing that already. So that's the path that we're going to be going down, and we're in the process of evaluating a few different providers right now. If you are currently working with somebody else outside of the system, I'd be eager to know who you're working with, so that potentially we can start those conversations with them as well. So if you are, feel free to throw it through in chat there, and Brad, you can send it over to me afterwards.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for that, Jerry. Jim has a really good question here. How secure is your cloud and how much access do you have to company information?
Oh, wow. What a great question. Wow. Kyle, I'm going to let you talk to that, the security behind it.
Yeah, no worries. So all of our stuff is hosted and encrypted on the Microsoft Azure platform, with all the security built in there. In terms of the data that we see on our end of things, because we're hosting it, we are able to essentially log in and see your guys' data. We don't use it for anything, and that is, if I recall correctly, put together inside of our terms that we put together for you guys when you do sign up. But in order to help you guys and if you do have support calls, like we can log into your system to see everything there, but we don't actively look at and use it for anything. Hopefully that answers the question. And if not, feel free to follow up.
Yeah, basically the support team is there to be able to, take people through and be able to see the information and then help kind of move things along to make sure that you guys can operate as efficiently as possible. Candy has a follow-up question. Does the vendor pay module have the paid/unpaid column?
Just heading there right now to have a quick look. Sometimes I forget all that is in here. Do you mean the order paid? If that's what you're speaking to, yes, it still has that. When you're in your vendor pay list and you're processing a check run, yes, you will still be able to see whether the related order has been paid or not. Hopefully that was what you were asking, Candy, if whether the related order was paid or not.
Yeah, I think that's what it is, Lynda.
I think so too, Kyle.
And Andrew, thanks for the follow-up there. Transman by Trimble for the maintenance program there, Kyle. Just to
Okay.
let you know.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Transmin. How do you spell that, Brad?
Transman.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. Looks like those are kind of the last of the questions coming through. Just give it a couple seconds here if anybody has any additional questions. And always, if you do have questions that come to you afterwards, please feel free to, can send them to the information you see on your screen here, the info@tailwindtms.com. Give us a call and ask them. Or even on our website, we have the little kind of chat functionality available there, so you can be seeing and getting in touch with us through that too. So try to make ourselves as accessible as possible.
And many of you already have my email, so feel free to reach out to me.
We do have, Jerry has one question here. Can the dispatch do more than 2 trailers on the dispatch? We sometimes need up to 10 units.
There's your heavy haul question. No, Phil can only attach 2 trailers per dispatch. Kyle, is that on our product board? Do we have any plans? You know how heavy haul companies, they sometimes need to add a trailer, a booster, a dolly, all sorts of equipment needs to be added to a load. Do you have any plans to add more trailers in?
In terms of trailers themselves, no. I haven't seen that come across inside of our ideas board, essentially. And is it trailers or is it additional equipment that's
equipment? Well, it's trailers and equipment. So you know what my suggestion to you would be is to organize your equipment perhaps in sets. So you've got a double drop with a booster or a dolly. Organize it in sets, and that'll make it a little bit easier for you.
Yeah. So it looks like that's for our last question, and we are coming up on our time frame here. So I think we'll start wrapping up. I'd like to thank you once again for joining us today to learn more about how Tailwind Online could work in your business. And beyond that, we hope and pray that all of you out there stay healthy and that we can move beyond these crazy COVID times as quickly as possible. So thank you for taking the time. Stay healthy out there. And bye for now, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.